Welcome to Elena's Bar Low Impact Full Body Workouts. On this channel, you find different fitness format workouts that will help you to lose fat, tone up your muscles, improve your posture, balance, gain overall strength, stamina, endurance, and flexibility. Check more classes on Elena at Elena's Bar Patreon. Join us for my crazy piano practice and various music challenges with Elena's Bar community on Sundays. Try out different comments during our live streams and see what happens. On Saturdays, we talk about controversial topics that can trigger you. If you'd like to dive in deeper into interesting topics and discussions with us, please support our new YouTube channel, The Resurgence, at The Resurgence of Sanity. If you'd like to call in and share your story during our live streams, please check our community rules and guidelines. You can also read my articles on Elena's Bar Substack and tell me what you think about the topics. You participate in all of our activities voluntarily at your own risk and discretion. Read the disclaimer in the description box. If you don't want to be mentally or physically challenged, I suggest that you skip this video. Thank you for your understanding. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Elena's Bar. Welcome to the Resurgence of Sanity also. Great to see you, Nick and Steve. How are you doing, guys?
Doing great. How are y'all?
Good. Are you excited? We have one of my favorite topics today.
Don't you have a soundbite for that?
Oh, gosh, let me check. I think I should have. Okay. Yeah, I did give the soundbite for everyone, just not myself. Oh, actually, yeah, I do have it.
There you go.
I can use it. Yes, I'm going
Shame this horse.
There you go.
Good, I have it. It's been a while since I checked it last time. So, yeah, guys, if you are joining us, we are going to actually pick sides today. I'm obviously going to go against horse and these shows. Sort of, kind of, okay? Steve is going to be pro these shows. And Nick, what's your position? Let's determine it.
I'm kind of a weird synthesis, so I can appreciate the shows in one sense and not like them in another. So
cool. Okay, well, you're kind of probably like me, but yeah, we will debate, guys. And if you want to join us, feel free to join the debate. Tell us what you think about these shows in the comments. Okay, we appreciate your feedback. So yeah, let's see. Okay, Steve, let's start with you because we have to determine the baseline, right? So why do you think these shows are great?
Well, let's do a comparison of the shows first. You get Fresh and Fit, and they're in Miami. Two black guys, and a lot of the women on that show are black, some Cuban, some Hispanic, some South American. To different. It has a different racial makeup, kind of a different culture. And so, yeah, I watch them sometimes, but it's not my culture. I'm in northern U.S. flyover country. It's not my culture, but it's interesting sometimes. Then you have the Whatever podcast, which is in Santa Barbara, and their makeup is mostly white women. I mean, they get a few Hispanics. They get probably a greater geographical range of women. It's heavily concentrated in California and Arizona, but you get some from Las Vegas, you get some from other areas. They tend to bring in a few Christian women, or self-proclaimed Christian women, a few older women, mid to late 30s, even some in their 40s. So I can understand that one better. It's more closer to my culture. And then you have Access Vegas. And that's more more of the flashy Vegas style woman. So they all are a little bit different. Right. But here's the thing. If you watch them, the women generally behave the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, you could,
it's pretty much true. Yeah.
Myron gives you that, well, he said that and everybody makes a bigger deal. Oh, you got to sleep with 50 women to know women. Well, that doesn't really work because you don't really learn that much about women. How you can learn a lot about women, hundreds of women, is, watch those shows for, a few months. Okay, how many women are you going to be able to see in those 3 or 4 months? And then you're going to for a man, he's going to be able to make a comparison or a judgment that, okay, you got the 304s, mm-hmm. the OnlyFans girls, they get challenged on their behavior. Then you throw in some so-called traditional wives or married women or Christian women. And what do? They
just mask it a little better.
They mask it better, but they always come to the defense of the 304s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the sisterhood.
And then when you find out their history, well, gee, I came out of this industry and now I'm Christian and I'm trying to save them.
Oh,
and some of them had an abortion and some of them had some kind of scandalous sexual past. But now they're good Christian women and reformed. So you learn a lot about women by doing it. And I have a lot more to say about that, but we got a whole hour to talk about it too.
Right.
So that's my starting position.
Okay. Nick.
No, I think you should go. You should.
You think I should go?
You're the author.
Oh, you're so kind. So kind. Well, I always approach media and content creators from the media and psychology viewpoint because I'm curious, how does what we portray impact the minds of people? And I just can't help myself. It's kind of on autopilot. I just view this man as the role model for other men. So if they allow women to behave disrespectfully on their shows, then this signals to other men that no matter how muscly, how strong you are, women can still get away with what they want, with what they came for. So we have to be kind of careful here. I agree with what you've said, Steve, that these shows can be very educational. And the female nature needs to be exposed. And we see the connection between the 3 shows. All of them are portraying women from a similar angle, actually. The female behavior doesn't change, regardless of their background. She can be a 3 or 4. She can be a traditional or more self-proclaimed Christian traditional woman with better facade. She just covers her who she is, right, inside, and they defend each other. And we can have the popular business fempreneurs with big clouds. This is also very tricky. So my starting point would be, since Steve has established his, I'm going to establish mine. What kinds of women get invited to these shows? These are usually the women with big clouds, right? The women who already have a huge army of simps. So in a way, women mentioned a few times on these shows that guys need them for these shows, because basically without them, there will be no such show as Fresh and Fit or whatever, or maybe even Access Vegas. Because the only women that these guys are inviting are promiscuous women.
Well, that's not exactly true of whatever. They do invite some Christian women on there. and some married women, and they extended invitation. If you want to show up, if you want to come on the show, send us a message and a resume. And they like having some more normal women on there, or it just creates some variety, and then they touch on a lot of issues, and then you can see the difference in behavior. I'd like to point out something before we get to Nick. I'm approaching this from a man's standpoint, watching the show. What do I glean from it? You're approaching it from a woman's standpoint, who says women need to be shamed. We need to shame these whores, and you're not seeing any behavioral difference on the women.
Yeah.
So what good does it do from a woman's standpoint? And I'm probably agreeing with you. It doesn't seem to do much good for the women.
Well, and this also leads me to the next point. Women see this promiscuous behavior portrayed by other women, and it doesn't matter whether they are 3 or 4s or for the statement that I'm trying to make here. They can have whatever background they have. If they are promiscuous, and if they are the only women that are being portrayed on these shows without any variety, which I don't mind. I appreciate the shows with Pearl. I appreciate the shows with Rachel Wilson. I love to see these women, the married women, so that younger women can learn, or they can see at least some difference and variety. But for the most part, and you would probably agree with me, the girls on these shows are mostly 3 or 4s, right? Or like popular porn star, sex workers. Okay, let's put a claim on all of them. They are all sex workers to some degree or the other. And younger women, they get exposed to this. So instead of teaching them the family values, instead of teaching them how to be a marriageable material wife, what do we teach them on a broader scale? How to be a promiscuous woman who gets what she wants, because all she wants is independence from men. All she wants is the clout. All she wants is her own money so that she doesn't have to rely on the man.
But Elena, is the show to be blamed for that, or is that all society pretty much?
Well, and
their very own homes they grew up in.
That's a good question, Nick. I would say that media is the institution. And since content creators are the representatives of media, they should be accountable for what they put out there. Yes, we content creators, we are responsible for the content we produce. Just because there are so many broken institutions out there, just because everybody else is doing it, just because we see promiscuity promoted in churches, in schools, in colleges, let's also do it with the independent media, where we have the right to decide what kind of narrative we want to, people to be exposed to. Why not to do something good with it? Why not to promote family values? No, let's go feed into the feminist ideology. Well, then how they are different from those harlots on these shows, who are seeking the same. They are interested in more revenue. They're interested in more independence. They're interested in more clout. How are these content creators any different from promiscuous women on these shows who want the same thing? What's the purpose?
Well, they're making a living by not showing their bodies, so that's how they're different.
But are they really not showing their body? They still say to men, focus on the muscles and game, focus on the money. So
money muscles game,
money muscles game, right? I see them posting themselves sometimes in this slinky shorts, like showing off their body. They kind of are using the same feminist tactics to sell themselves as these women. yes, they don't do it on their shows, of course. Obviously, they are the hosts, right? Otherwise, nobody will probably watch these shows if they were like exposing their body parts. But if you actually analyze content throughout and see what kind of messages they send on a broader scale, not just on the shows, but also when they talk to men, when they portray themselves on social media.
Well, you made an assumption, and I disagree with that assumption, that these shows promote this kind of behavior in women. They reveal this kind of behavior, but women do this anyway. They choose this before they see the shows. They existed before the shows revealed to them.
Yes.
This. And guys my age, in their 60s, they have no idea what OnlyFans is. They're completely out of touch with this whole thing. And not that they're even going to go out and find these shows, but they are out there. So now here's the other phenomenon. We see women, young ladies, young women who have been raised in decent families or small town America where, they don't really have the hookup culture.
Yeah.
And they want to move to the big city. And so they do. And then they get involved in the club scene and they want that glamorous lifestyle, not because of what they saw, it's in their head. And then also just look back through history in some of the studies. How many children in families were actually not the progeny of the father, and they were just passed off? So this behavior exists. So you can't blame the behavior on, hey, men are promoting it. That's my opinion. So therefore, removing it isn't going to change the behavior of women. Shaming the women on those shows isn't going to change their behavior. But in some cases, it is the only shame they're going to experience in their life.
Okay.
The only pushback on their position. And yes, doesn't seem to do much good in the moment.
Yeah. Can I present my argument now?
Oh, you have an argument now. Go ahead.
I've been listening. So we're getting to like your back and forth is really interesting. So I got 11 points real quick. There's the moral argument of a cultivation of a culture of shame for that cultivation of that culture of shame for such wicked behavior is good. Yet they go on there knowing this to promote their degeneracy, these women, and get subscribers to OnlyFans. The venue, the media, the message, the medium and the media. The medium is the message of the media. So it is not the most conducive to moral reformation or cultural shame. Yet, however, this does not mean that the venue is off limits for such activities of moral shame. But men do tend to live vicariously like through these things, like a revenge porn, to see them held accountable, because they do need to be held accountable. Men actually end up subscribing to these 304's crap, but that's not really the fault of these shows. It's like the liquor store should close because there's drunk drivers. Now a con, it promotes eye candy. A pro, it's an opportunity for guests to show their bullcrap immodesty and be called out on it. But it also plays on the sensate mind of men with lust, revenge, and the immodesty of women. But then we also have to come and ask to our mind, come to ourselves and ask, okay, what does Scripture say and what does tradition say? Then you realize, oh, well, guess what? The church and the government which tradition says and scripture have a role in shaming these whores, but it's not going on. So in one sense, yeah, there's degeneracy and there's some crap going on, but it provides something that every good church and society needs that are not doing. There you go.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, very interesting points. I was making notes here because if you look at it from a moral judgment, right, from the biblical standpoint, the end result, it's like I always look at the end result. Okay, so if I don't see the improvement in the behavior, if the goal of the show is to improve the behavior of a woman, then we shouldn't penetrate the bad behavior of women in any way, right? We should probably disregard them. We should not connect to them. We shouldn't give them the right to speak, but if we want to have some fun and like enjoy the decline, so to speak, because everybody is doing it, right? So why not to do it as well and benefit from it? From that standpoint, I totally get it, and some men, like you mentioned, they will live vicariously through these men because they can't say no to these women themselves. And like the end result is still like women are promoting their brands with useless services, or maybe they are useful to some simps, so I don't know. They are still promoting their personal brands through these big platforms. They still get more clout. They still get more attention. Yeah, like the purpose, the idea of these shows was to shame them. But what's the point of shaming them when they still get what they want? They see this shame from a business standpoint. Okay, look, I'm a whore, let's say, right? I come on your show. I'm pursuing my goals. I want to get to a certain cloud that will fund my promiscuous lifestyle so that I don't have to change anything about myself. So I come on your show. Yeah, you humiliate me. Yeah, you mock at me. Well, okay, I just sit and maybe I push back just to create some, counter argument there for the eyeballs. But then in the end, I leave the show. I get the clout. I get the attention. I get what I want. I get what I came for initially. Yeah, the show can have like the bestest intentions out there. I get it. I get it, Steve, I understand that the idea is to shame them, but when there is not immediate punishment that would cause women to feel and experience the discomfort, women are not going to change their behavior. They're like, oh, okay, minor inconvenience, a business expense. I'll just go sit there because the next day I know I'll get what I want.
Checks don't always bounce right away, though. You ever heard that phrase? So perhaps it's a long game. It could be a long game.
Well, and this is why
exposing these young men to this, and eventually, perhaps it could impact where there are consequences.
Well, okay. You're claiming that these shows are intended to try and shame women. Does it shame any women? Really? Does it?
It can.
I'd say in general, no. None of these women feel shame because they push back and say, this is what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And they want people to celebrate them.
Yes.
And they want to be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Andrew's on there and he's just kind of drilling in, what do the Christian women do? Oh, you're making her feel bad. It's not what you're saying. It's how you say it. Oh, basically, you're shaming them.
Oh.
Stop shaming them so much. And so it's all about, these discussions are about how women avoid shame. And
You
then
sound like
here's
the
another.
elders of the Orthodox Presbyterian Church. Oh, you're hurting
Okay.
your feelings. You're mean. Yeah, good point,
I'm
Steve.
going to coin a new acronym today. And I'm going to say the 304s do not think any different than the 3704s. Okay, now for those few of you out there who don't know where the term 304 came from, it came from typing 304 into your calculator in all the digital letters. You turn it upside down and it's spelled small h O E. Okay, so it spells hope. That's where it comes from. So what is a 3704? Turn it upside down. It spells H, small h, O, L, E. So, it's kind of crass, I understand. But every woman has been called, oh, she's just a hole. Okay, well, okay, so I don't really mean
three
it.
holes.
So now how is this appropriate? Well, you see on these shows the men talking to them and presenting some argument and some facts and some logic and some reason. And it's like sending logic and reason into a hole where it just goes and dies.
Yes.
It's like a big black hole. A logic, you can send as much logic there as you can, and it's just like a black hole. It just goes in and nothing happens.
Steve, what did we talk about? What happens to men when they're pursuing holes? Same crap.
Yeah.
It goes in and disappears. All that rationality, all that thought, all goes in for a hole.
And so, and then you can also call all the women on there space cadets because they work for NASA. And the acronym for NASA, the NASA astronauts, well, some people call NASA never a straight answer. So you ask a woman a direct question, will you get a straight answer?
No.
And you've seen how they have to drill.
Yeah.
And finally, after 5 minutes, they might kind of get the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the woman gets upset, or other women later on. Well, none of you, you were mean, meaning you didn't affirm my feelings. You challenged my conclusions, which were based on feelings. Your logic made me feel bad. Your job as a man is to affirm my feelings.
Well, basically,
because to not affirm my feelings is emotional abuse. So I come on the show and I get abused.
Okay.
So, these are all the behaviors you can watch in these women. And is there a difference in this general behavior that I described between the 304s and the born again Christian women?
Hell no.
Or other women? Do any women on that show really have a grasp on logic and consequences?
I haven't
not when it pertains to themselves or the hive mind. Okay, so Elena, you're saying something. Sorry.
Okay, so now, man. Okay,
no,
now
Elena was
take
saying
it one
something.
step.
She was going to say something.
Well, unless they invite more logical women like Pearl, like Rachel Wilson, this is what I was going to say. Then, yeah, you can maybe have some luck convincing some of them, or these women, more rational women would challenge the other women. Then women would listen to women because we live in a gynocentric social order where everybody kind of listens.
No, they don't.
No. But
no, women do not listen to women.
Well, and this is why I'm saying if there are no immediate consequences to their poor behavior, like how would you treat a spoiled child? you would punish him or her right away.
Okay.
Right?
One man can handle one woman. One husband can handle one wife if he has a discipline and imposes consequences. Other than that, there's no hope for any random man or random woman to act on their own to create a change in somebody.
Well,
people do not change. They adapt. So these women who give up the sex work life, and then, okay, now I found Jesus. Did they change or did they adapt? And now they're on there promoting their I Love Jesus t-shirts. They're still out there getting attention. And they're still, even those women, do they feel shame for where they came from? No, you need to celebrate me now because I have this wonderful testimony. Okay, so
okay, coming to faith in Christ, I'll push back. There can be some change. Sometimes a lot. It's rare, but usually there's change, and then there's a lot of change that happens over time. But not right away. There's an initial change right away, being regenerated, coming to faith in Christ. But does everything about them change? No. They have ingrown behavior. There's natural behavior, and there's ingrown like psychological patterns of sin, and that's not going to change overnight.
No, and nor should we expect it to. But in many of these cases,
sometimes they're fake.
They move from one grift, the sex worker grift, and when things start getting difficult, or they're about to hit the wall, or they're on their past due date, then they move
right.
Then find Jesus, and without really any pain and hardship, it's just moving on to, oh, now I'm going to do this, and people really, when you change. When men change and really learn how this works, they actually go through a lot of hardship. Now, these women who go from one life to the next life without really any suffering, do they demonstrate any humility? Because a person who really understood the sin nature and how offensive they were to God should have some humility. Now, I'm not judging the state of their souls. I'm just observing their actions.
Well, the fact that they are so easily accepted by church. For example, what was her name? Nola, who did all of the transformation. I was just amazed that the church didn't give her a probation period of some kind. It kind of accepted her. Yes, you run through hell. Come over here. We will embrace you. Finally, you woke up. And then she, as a result, got more clout, even more attention, more subscribers. They didn't give her time to prove herself, to demonstrate the work that she needed to do, right? So it's very easy for women to move from one field to another because our society makes it easy for them. What do you think these shows are making for these women by not setting any standards for them? They make it easy for these women.
They needed to, have some time before accepting her in.
Right.
And they needed to give her some penance.
Yeah.
From now on, for the rest of your life, in atonement for what you have done, you have to wear ugly dresses down to your ankles. You can no longer. Okay, and it's showing your humility and that you're sorry for what you did. Okay, I wanted to come up with something we could laugh at and say, there's some merit to that.
Well, like traditionally in Christianity, I know some of the Baptist traditions are weird about this, but like they're not, I don't consider them traditional Christianity. But somebody came to faith, you had a time of catechesis. They're catechumens, right? And
Right.
people watch their behavior, they learn how to act, they learn the doctrines, and they are instructed. It is a time of self-reflection, and the church was observing them. I don't see any of that crap going. I didn't see any of that crap going on. That if somebody was observing them, it's like, oh, are you really? Is this really humility? How about you shut up? How about you learn some things, sit under a time, and then, maybe once you become like a member of a church or something, after a time period, yeah, sure, go out and share, your testimony, whatever. But
Yeah,
it's all
after
that
period
really,
Christian
of
crap.
time, not before, because what she did there, she announced that she transformed, and then everybody was, oh, yes, Noah has transformed. Congratulations, from one grief to the next. Because I
God does
believe
not need her testimony to win
no.
souls to Christ.
He doesn't need us either.
So just go away, be quiet, pray, and wear an ugly ankle-length dress. And then after you've done that for about 3 years, then we'll see if you're ready to do anything else. But you don't get to go on tour and tell your testimony, because you know what? You're a woman.
Yes.
You're not to be up in front. Your existence is not to teach others. Your salvation comes through bearing children and being a good woman. Now, if you're not going to bear children, you still have no ministry. Your life is prayer and in service to God. And it's not for your vanity or so you can get more attention or so people can cheer you and make you feel better. That's not what Christianity is about. Now, maybe she is a Christian. Maybe she's saved. But, okay, there's such a thing as growing in faith. And this is not going to do it by putting her on tour.
Yeah. We have a comment here from Emmanuel. You can make an argument that they become the brand and they won't change because attention grabbing or farming weak men. Yeah. Well, and this is why, like, how effective are these shows in teaching men how men are supposed to behave? Because if we look at it, most weak men, they're going to live vicariously through these big macho men who kind of punch these women, and they try to hold women up to some higher standards. The problem is, you take a whore, it's like marrying a whore, okay? You take a woman, she's promiscuous, she has a baggage, right? And you embrace her, you marry her, and then you start like, okay, but like, listen to me, please. I have a rational argument to tell you here. I'm just trying to draw the connection, kind of like how men view waiting. There is no waiting process when selecting women for these shows, because these men don't have higher standards for women. They still embrace promiscuous women there.
Yeah, and I can give you some anecdotal example of that. So recently there was the Pearl Trent Horn debate. And that was on Pints with Aquinas, a Catholic channel. So they got on there, and Pearl's form of debate probably wasn't the most effective. Trent is probably more technically skilled at debating, but she brought up a lot of good points. But it's things people didn't want to hear. And then you look down in the comments, 700-800 comments by mostly men, Catholic men, I will assume, who were saying, oh yeah, Trent really showed her, and she was just pathetic, and she shouldn't even be Catholic anymore, blah, blah, blah. Just slamming on her. Shaming Pearl. Now, why do men shame Pearl, but they don't shame the 304s?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
They can't handle their wife. I mean, men need to handle their wife, and sometimes you can't, right, Nick? Sometimes you try your best and you fail. But a lot of these men,
you see that in church history documents too. So,
but a lot of these men are not
new.
even trying. So instead of even trying to handle their wife or being silent, they're coming to the defense of this other woman, because if what Pearl says is true, that would mean they married a 304 and she might feel bad. So I will defend any woman that talks about bad stuff, the bad nature of women, to simp for my wife and for other good Christian women.
See, right? That's the whole problem, man.
Yeah.
It's there. Okay, so who's the bigger problem? The 304s or the men in the church? Nick, who's the bigger problem?
Men in the church. Because they're superiors. Hierarchically. So superiors have greater responsibility.
In God's hierarchy, yeah.
So they're enabling that crap when they need to awaken to the truth and not be taken in by those holes.
So I have a question for you guys, related to what just Nick said. Do you think that the content creators, by inviting these 304s on their shows, are enabling more promiscuity, more degeneracy, more narcissism in these women?
I don't think so. I think they're going to do it either way. Like I said, it's like you're blaming the liquor salesman for drunks.
Yeah, I agree with Nick. And what's the good thing about this? Well, they reflect the social culture. There is all kinds of growing complaints of women, but where are all the good men? Yeah. I can't find a man to marry. And men are saying, oh, I can't find a good woman to marry. Well, okay, this reveals why this is happening. Yeah. So, there's an educational component, because men look on there and they say, hey, logic doesn't work on any of them. Doesn't work with my girlfriend. Doesn't work with my wife. It doesn't work on any of these either. Oh, I just thought I had a bad woman. No, you just have a woman. Right. And so, so the marriage rate is going down. The people are postponing getting married and having kids. It's happening. But this reveals, it demonstrates it. It's not promoting it. These shows are not causing that behavior. They're just exposing the behavior. The behavior is happening regardless. And so it's bringing the crisis. It's showing that the crisis is here. Yeah. And it's going to get worse and worse. And in any economic downturn, when men don't have money to throw at the 304s, oh man, the gnashing and the wailing and the crying and oh man, they're going to turn up the volume to 11.
Yeah, but when will it happen?
Oh, it's happening now. It's starting to happen now.
Starting?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they can't find. There's no men that'll ask them out. Men are afraid, to have a conversation. They're afraid. They're afraid for anything to happen, because they'll have some child out of wedlock, or they lie and then now they're on for child support, or they'll be accused of some sort of fucking abuse, have their name and reputation ruined.
Here's another funny thing. In a similar way, okay, they're complaining about, the education deficit and how bad it is because the women are getting all the college degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we need to laugh. Paper, right? We need to laugh at that. Yeah, the men are so much smarter. They're not going to college to get useless degrees, wasting 4 years of their time, and then getting a low-paying job afterwards, and in adding all this debt and burden on. They're just going and getting a job, maybe going into the trades. And then you got all these women making stupid decisions, going to college, getting a university degree.
$50,000 for the head of HR department.
So who's smart, who's dumb? The men are saying, screw that university. I'm going to go out and work. A man working is productive.
Yeah. Well, a feminist would argue, they would say that women working is productive too.
Yeah, you need the HR department to hire the men who actually go out and get something done.
Right.
And then fire them because they're not politically correct.
Hey, doesn't that fall right in a woman's area? She can tone police the whole organization.
Yeah, well, this is what they do.
I thought they're about making money. Now it's all about wiping somebody's butt, filing this stupid ass TPS report. Oh, you said a mean thing about this stupid effing Karen yesterday. Oh, that's sexual harassment. All I did was ask for her phone number so I can send her a text about business,
If you want to destroy a corporation, you let women run it. They will they will run it to the ground. They will fire all of the good men who are actually hardworking men. And it's
did you ever hear you know who Terrence Popp is?
Who?
Okay, Terrence Popp, he's a guy retired from the Army after 33 years. And he has a podcast. Very, very smart guy. Pearl knows him or talked about him. Anyway, he talked about this company where a TV producer started a company, a female TV producer. And so she hired all women in her company. And it was all about, it got to be just a drama fest and women coming in late. And then, I need to take time off to get my nails done or my hair appointment or my hoo-ha waxed or whatever. And then whenever one of them broke up, they would, that would create drama. And then there was different cliques. And then, did you see who thinks they're high and mighty because they got a new purse? And so then there's all this backbiting, and they never got any work done, and the company went broke.
Like what I said, you want destruction, place women in charge. They will run straight into it.
All right, now we're getting off topic. Now where the hell are we?
Okay, you bring us back, Nick.
All right. Oh, I'm the one who got medicated for ADD as a kid and told him to go fuck off. But shit, where were we? We're talking about 304s, the holes, somehow, blah blah blah, accountability, no accountability, shame.
We were talking about women's behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these shows reveal women's behavior.
They do.
And not just the 304s, because it's kind of the similar behavior in all women. And basically all the women on there are free-range women. Now, you want to get some traditional women on there. like Rachel Wilson. Great. She might be one of the rare women who is actually in submission to her husband.
Yeah.
Which will put her, she's smart, and that puts sanity on top of that, where all these women who are not truly in submission are really in rebellion. And when you're in rebellion, you're rationalizing, and you're not going to use logic and reason when you're in rebellion. And any woman not in submission is actually in rebellion.
Yeah.
Well, you mean like God created an order, like this universe is ordered and it's supposed to operate in a certain way, and throwing off fucking reality screws up everything else? Huh, imagine that.
Well,
You
yeah.
used to go to the crazy house?
Well, Nick, don't you know Genesis, where God created man and he was lonely and he was screwing around and not getting anything done. And he said, God, I need a boss. So God created the boss bitch.
This is awesome. Oh, that's no more to that? I thought you were on a roll off. But that's a good parody. Man was screwing around, getting nothing done. It's a lazy piece of crap.
Well, and this is what they keep saying on these shows. Okay, women come with their agenda. Okay, they have their okay. I know that. Okay, maybe male content creators, they have some kind of agenda. They want let's give them the benefit of doubt. They want to bring. Make women more accountable, right? Women coming on these shows, they don't want to be held accountable, right? They want to keep doing what they are doing. And then they say that we are the important creatures. We are here to defend the rights of women. La, 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 la. They don't want to listen to man, period. They don't want to learn from man, period. Because they think that they are superior. They already come with this entitled attitude. This is why I'm saying that the standards are so low for these women on these shows. There are no standards, basically. If you have, the only standard usually I notice is if you have big clout, you're good enough, come on our show.
I think it's really good, like when they invite Andrew Wilson on.
Well, it's really good.
He comes from a moral, good Christian framework. We disagree on a few things, but sometimes he just fucking sits there and lets them just go on and on and on. And he's putting all the pieces together, and he comes on and he does the rope-a-dope. It's like, here you go. Just throwing like the evidence and logic in their faces, and they're still like, mean.
Yeah,
but the guys that are listening, they're like, oh, wait.
Well, that's why I'm saying that only when they invite good guests who really challenge these women, who don't take their crap, who like straight out call them out, then maybe you'll see some of it. But it usually takes, it's kind of like, in my opinion, it's my personal opinion, okay? It's kind of a waste of time. Instead of having productive conversations with like men and women, how to improve, right? How to solve the problem. We are kind of wasting ourselves on these 3 or 4s. That like, men are maybe if they are rational, they will learn something. But if they are simping, they will be like, oh, these girls are so cool. I'll go and subscribe to your OnlyFans channel.
You're blaming the alcohol salesman. You're blaming the liquor store for drugs.
Absolutely. That's what's going to happen. The majority of people are going to learn nothing, or just watch it for the entertainment, or use it as an advertising. But there are 20% of men, the actual male leaders, men who lead other men who have the potential to lead their wives, and they get on here and they see some of these arguments and they see things exposed. So for that small group of men, that minority of men, I should say, not small group, minority of men, they have the ability to learn from this. See, for instance, how Andrew uses the logic and how he destroys their argument and how strong a frame and how you just have to be solid. And men need that example of seeing other men being solid and not caving into women. And so for that minority of men, there is the potential to learn there.
Yeah.
You can't force anybody to learn. But all you can do is give them the opportunity. You can't force women to change or to accept the shame, but they have the opportunity.
Well, we could actually, if we just ghosted them and not talk to them at all. Yeah, there is a way to deal with bad behavior. You just don't encourage it.
But the Christian men are not going to allow that, because that would be mean. They're nice guys.
Well, but you have to be, if you want to educate somebody, right? Nick, correct me if I'm wrong. Love is about correction, right? If we are not willing to put women through correction and through pain, how are they going to learn? How are they going to improve? They're not going to improve. If we still, as a society, right, content creators in particular, we still embrace them. Yes, you're who, as long as you're honest. Yes, come on our shows. We will shame you for a little bit just for fun and for educational purposes. I don't disregard these shows completely. Yes, there is something good in them. Okay, men still can learn. It's just
like ladies' night. They do that. They have a time at the end. That's Rich Cooper's. They have a time at the end where they make them listen, and they correct.
What do you mean? They make them listen? Whom they
like? There's a time at the end of the show where they make these ladies listen to their critiques. Like, that's part of the show. At the very end, that is what they do. Yeah, some learn. Some of these ladies, they say,
but
no, you're
will
right.
It be enough, or will it be like from one ear and then out into one ear to the next? Will they actually change their behavior, or they just will not? Just because a woman agrees with you publicly doesn't mean that she will take all of your suggestions into account.
They've had that happen. They agree, then they blast them the next day on their
exactly,
Instagram.
and then
that happens more often than not.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of inviting ungrateful bitches on your shows? This is something I don't understand. And then you try to have a rational discussion with women who avoid rationality, who avoid accountability. Like, come on, guys, you probably would have better luck inviting traditional wives, honestly. At least these ladies, they don't hate on men per se, or they are not they're not against men. They actually want to be married. They are not against the whole idea of being a marriageable wife, unlike these women, because you talk to them. I've seen a lot of shows with Access Vegas, Fresh and Fit, and whatever podcasts before. I stopped watching them because they are honestly very frustrating to watch. Because women, they are proud of the fact that they are 3 or 4. They are proud of the fact that they are a whore. And then
that's why the shaming is good. That's why we need shaming.
But Nick, how effective is that shaming? When we shame on one side, okay, I'm a married woman, I'm shaming this woman, right? Men on the other hand, like, yes, come over here, we will talk to you, we will have a rational conversation with you.
Okay, it's not effective. How many husbands can correct their wife and shame her and have her accept the shame and take correction and change?
Not many. And I'll tell you what, as a pastor, I tried doing that with my ex-wife, right? And what happened? call everybody else, he's mean, he's controlling. I'm like, oh man, I just thought my kids shouldn't be running out in the middle of the street. Okay.
Yeah.
So what they do is they actually shame the man for trying to be a good man and then prop up these disobedient, so-called faithful Christian women.
So hey, maybe we should just forget about these shows. You know, watch them for entertainment, whatever. Stop worrying about the women not changing and accepting shame. Maybe the correction and the shame needs to be directed at the men in the Christian church, the so-called moral men who are not allowing the shaming to even happen. It's got to start someplace. If it doesn't start there, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The church should be doing this. Society, the civil government or society and the church traditionally did do that.
Yeah.
And that was saying like Fresh and Fit and all these other groups there's a vacuum and they're filling the vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like looking from psychological standpoint, I don't see how encouraging the bad behavior helps us solve the problem. The problem is that women are delusional, right? Women don't settle down with the men within their objective sexual market value. They disregard most men out there. There are so many men who don't get even a chance of having a girlfriend out there, because all women do is they want the top of the top, the best man out there. They want these fancy guys that they spend hours talking on Fresh and Fit, on whatever, on Access Vegas shows. They want those guys. They wouldn't settle for less. And just because this guy spent a few hours chatting with these girls have delusion that from now on, all they deserve is this top man.
Yeah, okay, that's delusional. And you want them to change. You want the women to change, to be more reduce the promiscuity and their attitude and their entitlement. And you want the men, all men, to change, to step up and actually hold them accountable. Good. What makes people change? When do they change?
Consequences.
Mm-hmm.
They only change when it's too painful not to change.
Exactly. So why not to make it painful for them?
No, it's circumstances. It's not words that it's going to make it painful.
Exactly.
It's circumstances.
It's actions. It's actions. It's men's actions. So if I'm not saying that this is what men should do, like big male content creators, obviously they're going to do what they want to do, right? But let's just speculate here. Let's say they ghosted this women completely. These women wouldn't have anywhere to go. Maybe they would flood the social media. Fine, whatever. This is their playground anyway right now, right? But on these shows, if men just say no more whores, okay? No more whores, no more 304s. We are not giving you the food. We are not giving you the right to speak. You bitch, go fix yourself first. If you want access to our resources, if you want access to our surrounding, our network, we are not giving it to you for free. Work, go prove yourself that you are worthy of something. Then if you want high value men, if you want us, big male content creators, to pay attention to you, show us, demonstrate to us that you are worthy of our attention.
this only you're kind of right. Yeah, when is that going to happen?
Probably never.
it will. It definitely will
It's
happen.
coming.
When a woman needs a man. I'm not saying wants a man. When she needs a man because she's starving and she can't produce enough and get food, and she needs that man to provide for her, and she needs him to protect her, because if he is not providing, there's nothing else out there. No, she's got no place to live and nothing to eat. That's when she needs the man, and that's when he has enough force or power over her to cause her to behave, because that keeps her in line.
I get your point, Steve. Now watch
That's why
this.
child support and alimony are bullcrap.
Okay, now
it enables it.
Watch this, guys. If men say that, okay, no more whores on these shows, this will shrink this women's revenue. They can actually do it, if they are united, and if they keep saying like the same kind of narrative, like no more whores, we are just ghosting all of you ladies. So these women won't have the exposure. They won't have the advertisement that they get from this man. So their numbers of simps will significantly reduce, because these simps will be watching different kinds of shows, like maybe better shows that would show them that there are different women out there. Maybe men should just start talking about men's stuff without women for a while. Maybe that's what needs to happen. But when women don't get exposed, their revenue goes down, and then this can start forcing them to change their behavior.
Oh, this is a good theory. Let's test it.
Let's see.
Nick, when you started having problems with your wife and you reduced the amount of money that she was getting from you, and then she had to move back near her parents and get assistance from them. She's got a lot of financial hardship now, right? Okay, so providing that financial hardship to her, did it cause her to change and actually take correction?
She begged from everyone else. She begged from everyone else.
What are you saying? Depriving her of income didn't change her behavior, her bad behavior?
It should have, but she just found another avenue to beg.
She found another avenue. Well, okay, they're welcome. Money. Guys, watch this. Okay, let's speculate it's happening, right? Let's look at it like, okay, it's happening now. The everybody's ditching whores. Nobody wants them. They'll find another revenue stream out there, but without men, nobody wants their services. I've yet met a woman who actually is paying for porn to see the other woman, like it's not working that way. No, porn is based on men. Men are funding this stuff. If there are no men who are interested in this, like as on a broader scale, right? Because men are more, like, let's say they become more rational, right? They realize that there is a lot of free porn available, so why to pay for it? Okay. So just kind of taking a different path out there without these women's services. Like, they are welcome to sell it to each other. I mean, if they want to lend money to each other, that's good. But then eventually they will run out. Like, and it's going to take them a lot of time to find another avenue. But then if men are not really engaging in this, if they are not supportive of this, how successful are these women going to be? Because their services directly rely on the income that men are providing for them.
Well, you're eliminating porn's basically playing off of wicked behavior. Sex is always going to sell. And usually traditional governments would have, in Christian governments would have cut that crap out. And it's not a majority of Christians that are running these things anyways, ironically. It's people that hate Christians.
Yeah.
A certain group you're not supposed to mention. And interestingly, they don't want to be called out. But it's usually people that are really good at selling fleshly things, and Christian governments traditionally put a stop to a lot of these overt ways of degenerating the moral masses, degenerating the morality of the masses, and they outlaw these things. You had to do them in a black market. You had to do them in secret.
Well, then they are welcome to do it in secret. In fact, this is what patriarchy was, right? These women always existed historically, right? They always existed. They were just not pedestalized. They were not on the mainstream. They were not on big media. So what's wrong with that? Send them back where they belong. Send them to the streets. Preserve the media for something bigger, something better.
Well, until the modern world, until we had running water, the modern women, and that made things so easy for modern women. And then we made it even easier with welfare and, all this child support and no-fault divorce. We've removed all consequences and hard work from the women, or make them so secure that there's always a way. And if there's always a way, they don't need a man. When they need a man, throughout all of human history, pretty much up to the last 100 years, women actually desperately needed a man for their basic survival. And that's the thing that's missing. Can we ever get back to that? Absent that driving need of a woman to be with a man.
It happens. It does happen.
On a society basis?
Yeah, 304s, end up being desperate for a man eventually. Over time.
Yeah.
Isaiah 3 turns into Isaiah 4. That doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. No. But it's effing coming.
Oh my gosh.
Will I feel bad? Hell no.
Wow. Well, eventually, women can't survive without men. Let's be realistic here. Who maintains all of the infrastructure? Who is building the houses? Who is building the roads? Who is building the airplanes that we all fly in, right? Trains.
Well,
cars.
Rosie the Riveter is building the airplanes.
Look what's happening.
Rosie the Riveter. She's the icon of how the women went in and did all the work when the men were away in World War II. They brought all the women into the factories. That's where the term Rosie the Riveter comes from. There's a poster showing her strong arm that she was doing the work.
Yeah, right. While men were still fighting. If it wasn't for men, all of the factories would be burned down. This is what women don't get. It's like, yeah, we do so much work here, ladies. So much work. But somebody is defending the fatherland.
Now.
Wait,
fatherland.
What a sexist thing for you to say. The fatherland? I mean, what? Do you believe in patriarchy or something? How about we just say homeland?
Oh, make it neutral?
Yes.
No, the fatherland, because men historically have been fighting for this. Men have been defending the women and the families. The fatherland, not some homeland out.
So what do they say in Russia? What do they call it?
They call it motherland, but let's be
Okay.
realistic here. Feminism was born where? In the Soviet Union sometime.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
but
it's
who
the
called it
motherland
the
of feminism.
fatherland, Nick?
What? Oh, the Germans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The fatherland, because men are the ones. I've been recently watching a lot of historical movies with my husband, and we watched the documentaries about Grant, and then George Washington. Like they were on one specific channel, so we kind of binge watched through pretty much all of them. And then if you watched the Yellowstone, there is the history moment there, and they're describing the Oregon Path. And you can see how women behave in extreme situations. They default to their feminine side. They suddenly realize that, oh my gosh, the world is collapsing around them, and they need a strong, masculine man to defend them. But if traditionally women were more compliant, they were more submissive, they realized that. Now, with all of the delusion that is being spread and supported, women are like, we don't need no man. Yeah, with your fake nails, artificial boobs and eyelashes. What are you going to do when it's not going to happen? But let's just speculate. China attacks US. What are you going to do then? where will all of your nail services technician be?
Well, those, yeah, you know what? We'll just go out. If times get tough, we'll just plant some potatoes in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And then she can get her nails done. And then she can go out and grab a shovel and start digging potatoes. Have you ever dug potatoes?
Yes, I have.
Can you imagine a woman with long nails holding a shovel handle and digging it, and then putting her hands down in the dirt to get the potatoes out? Yeah, okay. Yeah, honey, you look great with those long nails. And then men will just laugh. Like, I never thought much of those long nails anyway. I don't know why you think they look great.
I
just
don't
me.
think they look
You're
great.
just affirming your uselessness.
Pretty much. It only works in a delusional, toxic, intoxicated by feminism society that lives off the expense of somebody else. And this somebody else is man.
Yeah, so, Elena, show us your long nails. What?
She plays piano. She can't
I
have
play
long.
the piano.
Yeah.
And my husband, like I used to have very long nails, and they were naturally long. I didn't put artificial nails. During our wedding, I grew my nails a little longer, but that was it. Then I trimmed them, and then since then I always had shorter nails. You know, it's like sometimes they grow a little bit, but then I still trim them.
So nails are not good for functionality, basically. Long nails. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So is that why women want long nails?
So they are.
So they don't have to.
Like, look, I've seen. Okay, so far I've seen only one lady. I have to give her credit. Okay, she has very long nails, but she grows vegetables. She does all of the things that like a traditional wife would do. She kind of adapted to them. But like what I see in women, especially on social media, she's not on social media, by the way. What I see mostly is happening. They are dysfunctional, you know, like they show themselves that they are this sensitive vase that you can't shake, because see, the moment you do, she will break apart, because her fake nails and eyelashes and everything will just fall. Completely worthless, useless person there.
I thought she was strong and empowered. Wouldn't she claim she's strong and empowered?
Yeah, but
independent.
It's only when it
Equal.
suits you. So when she needs the to show to the world how strong and powerful she is, how independent she is, she will do that. When she wants to dominate above men, she will do that. But then when she wants something else, like services and other things,
Yeah.
she will be like a victim, or when you try to hold, okay, you want to be a man, lady, you want to be a man, you want to be like a man, well, guess what, you will be held to the man's standard, and the man's standard is pretty high, right? This is how it should be. If you claim yourself
It's
to be a
not.
strong and independent woman, I mean, like, come on, like,
No, they need organization. They need socialism and all this Marxist organizations to prop up their, strong independent women.
yeah, right.
Get rid of all the not EPA, ERA. Get rid of all the government. No government involvement. No government enforcement. Right?
Yeah.
No one would hire their ass. No one. It doesn't make economic sense in most cases.
It doesn't, but the point of feminism was to separate them and to tax them separately so they could make more money, right? A lot of corporations, they sell a lot of shit to women, mostly because women are the ones who are driving it. They are the ones who are taking the stupid decisions in buying things. Look, even I tend to buy more things than my husband does,
It's not.
So it's like a lot of money in cosmetics, in pharmacy, in like all of the spheres. They are benefiting from keeping men and women separate from each other.
Plus, they benefit from the destruction of the family.
Exactly.
Because if you remove fathers from the family, from the position of authority in the family, you have a weaker foundation in your society, and you can more easily control people by separating them.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's in their interest to destroy the family for greater control of by the government and by the wealthy people, and then they can more easily exploit people.
Yeah.
The superior, so like the people at the very top of these like businesses, they see a way to exploit this feminism and women in the workplace and everything. They say, oh, this means they know how their mind works, so they're gonna have all this advertising, all get this hive mind thing. Everybody, oh, they're all gonna think they need this, like they all thought they needed that stupid ass Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah, they all think that they need these useless degrees. And look, in the meanwhile, the universities are making a lot of money based on women, because women take loans. Really, I was lucky that my dad paid for my education and for my sister's education, but it's not very common. Usually, women they get degrees because like everybody sells them that it's such a valuable degree, and you can make so much money, you can become strong and independent. And then what happens? She dives into a loan, she takes a loan, and then she has to pay it off. And she's lucky. It used to be that women would go to college so that they could meet good husbands, right? Then the
Right.
husband would take care of her and take care of her dad. But recently, men check out from the universities, from the colleges. They don't really go to, unless they want to be like a doctor, a lawyer, some specialties that do require to have a degree, right?
Yeah. So, okay, you might ask me, am I against women's education?
Mm-hmm.
No, not necessarily. I am opposed. I think it's silly and stupid for a woman to go to college or university to get a degree in early childhood development, to get a degree in social work, to get a degree in sociology, or any of these things, because you're incurring a lot of debt. You're really not going to be able to do much with that. And it's not teaching you anything that's of importance. Now, what kind of education would be useful to a woman?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only kind is kind that improves her mind and broadens her horizons and makes her better able to think and understand the world. So that was the old liberal arts education, where they get a bit of theology, they get some literature, they get some history, they get a little bit of philosophy. Now that woman is a better woman because her mind is better formed. Now, should this be for all women? Absolutely not. Because
I don't know. Who wants to spend
the
$100,000
majority
on that?
of
You should learn that in high school.
You're right.
yeah, well, the majority of
At least
men.
my grandma did. So
I mean, you have to be relatively intelligent and willing to do that, to learn that. So the opportunity should be there, but only for the people who are capable of using it. For the average person or the below average intelligent person, getting a college degree is kind of exploiting them and making them think that they're smarter than they actually are. We need, those are the women, well, basically all women should be getting married and raising kids. That's the highest value.
And how does this relate to these hoes on these shows?
That's a good.
You asked the question, you answer it too now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, these are the hoes on the shows. Meanwhile, a lot of them, I don't like. Some people pointed out, if they're making so much freaking money on OnlyFans, why are they spending it on these useless effing degrees? Like, oh, but I needed to do this to pay for my college. And what are you studying in college? Like, you're a fucking moron. That doesn't make mathematical sense.
Well, Nick, are you proposing that they have their OnlyFans degree?
Yeah,
Which is irrelevant
makes more
to
money.
them.
Like morally, it's degenerate, right? But like economically, it's supposedly they're making more money.
Well, they like to have plan B. A lot of them. Sorry, Steve. 1 second. A lot of them, they start with like medical degree, like a long profession there, but they don't want to spend time working as a doctor or as a nurse because it's easier. Just sell your butthole on the internet and you'll make as much money as the doctor makes. And this is the relocation of resources. It's so detrimental to our society to see that people who actually provide value, objective value, such as doctors, pilots, you name male professions out there, right? But there are a few women in those fields as well, such as doctors or nursing, right? When they realize that they can make more money being a porn star rather than being a doctor.
And there's no shame.
Yeah, okay, but it's a bad idea for a woman to become a doctor from a society basis because she's going to occupy that seat for the training to become a doctor. And then she's going to graduate at 30. Well, that was a woman who should have been having babies. But now she comes out and now she's going to work, but she's only going to want to work 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
Because, it's too hard. She's got all that debt. And then, after about 15, 20 years of working, maybe I should quit and stay home. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, you just wasted all this effort into this woman. It could have been a man sitting there and the man getting the degree. And then from the time he's 30 to 70, he would have been doing the job, putting in 50 hours a week. So which one gets more? What society gets more benefit from the man doing it?
Exactly.
Than the woman doing.
Yeah. But it's still.
One more thing. You said maybe there should be a college degree for OnlyFans. I have suggestions. We just convert the marketing degree to sexual marketing, and then we convert the communications degree into sexual communications. And then instead of human resources, sexual resources. Hey, you can start a new school.
Based on sex.
Based in Las Vegas.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do you think you will see a lot of men doing these degrees, or it will be mostly women?
A smart man might try to put himself at the top of that. Although it doesn't mean he's a moral man, but an economically savvy man. So.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. This is just crazy. But like, yeah, I agree with Steve actually. Why not? It used to be that like women would learn how to cook, right? How to clean, how to take care of kids. Like, why not to come up with this degree? Since this is something that their mothers are supposed to teach them and they don't. Mothers failed, their grandmothers failed too. It's a cycle, right? It's like generation after generation. So why not to teach women the basic skills of marriage, how to be a marriageable wife?
Oh, home equity? Is it
Yeah,
home equity?
what S.T. Williams is trying to
economy, home economy.
Yeah.
Home economics.
I have like an old like 19 like 30s or so I found in my grandfather's house when he passed. It's about teaching home economics, and they break it down. They teach these ladies how, like, what you need to do to sew, how to cut a chicken, how to do all these different things, basic recipes. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting.
I graduated from high school.
Grew up knowing how to do that.
I graduated from high school in 1981. Small town Minnesota. My class of 60. About half women, half men. Do you know what class the boys took? Shop. Do you know what class the girls took? Home economics. They did cooking and sewing and all that stuff. As recent as that, it was still there.
See, because we industrialized all of these specialties, so now women say that if you want me to clean the house, hire me a maid. So we have a maid who makes money by cleaning somebody else's houses, right? We have the women who sew clothing, right? They produce their own brands, and then they sell their own clothing online or somewhere else. But traditionally, women they knew how to do all of these things. And it was a single family household. So a man would make more money that he could take care of the family, because now the division of salary has to go to both men and women equally split, right? So that we don't hurt some politically protected classes there. But it used to be that families were living on one income. Did it mean that they couldn't afford everything they wanted? Yes.
No.
They had a budget. Now they say that we can't afford living with one single family income. A woman has to work too.
Yeah, of course she does. She has to work so her salary can go to pay for the daycare, can pay for her foo-foo Starbucks coffee every day, to pay for the extra car and the extra car insurance, and then to pay for, she needs a clothing allowance.
Her nails.
And so that costs money.
Cosmetic.
And then, she's going to need more makeup. And then, she's going to need her haircut more often. So, yes, it does take two incomes to support a family, because pretty much all her income goes to support her ability to work.
Yeah. Like Lord Venom just says, yeah. This is the comment I wanted to bring in. What's the one thing a woman brings that cannot be outsourced? Nothing. Exactly. Exactly, Lord Venom. This is why I'm so mad at women who say, if you want me to clean the house, hire me a maid. Like, what's your purpose then? Why are you still his wife? Huh? You can't
Okay,
clean? You can't cook?
This is for Lord Venom. Pay attention here. Women are void, men are form.
Void men are form.
Do you understand?
I think so.
So that's kind of like the hole. You need some form to fill the void.
Shit.
They're gonna think I hate women. I
No, we know you don't.
Making jokes.
I know. Well, based on how women portray themselves today, they kind of are just to avoid, you know.
Yeah. Avoid
They
the void.
They are.
Well, they need the thoughts, they need the guidance, and they need some leadership.
Yeah.
And without the leadership, it doesn't really go well. So that's the form is the leadership. The void is the person who can actually be very valuable in that role. It's almost like God designed them that way.
Well, see, and this is why coming back to the leaders and the content creators, because they are kind of setting up the tone. I know that it takes more than just one institution here that we are diving into today, which is media and the representatives of media, but it's a big one. It's a big one.
So Michael Foster says something about patriarchy is basically inevitable. You can have a bad patriarchy or a good patriarchy.
Or what we have right now,
time,
a weak patriarchy.
We have a weak patriarchy, and I would say like these men and these platforms, a lot of them are a bad patriarchy. Like you can still learn something from them, like, but I don't think it's creating a good moral class of strong men.
Yep.
But it's still showing some natural good despite that. There's still some light of nature going on there that's perhaps waking some of these men up. But I never look to these guys for like my own leadership because I'm always been into the Bible, always been into classics and church history, and that provides a long list of good, strong fathers, kings, pastors, theologians, etc. you can draw from. But in today's what I call Anabaptist or Baptistic effeminate culture, they have no tradition.
Yeah.
They have no good fathers.
Well, and that's the problem, because also when they say that it's amoral, right? They eliminate all of the moral judgment that we actually need in order to educate people so that people can make better rational decisions in their lives, so that people can make moral judgments, and they can behave better. Without the moral judgment call, there is no improvement. When you say that everything is immoral, we can behave whatever we want, we can do whatever we want, and we can bend it towards our whims. So I see it in a way that it's an attempt for men to promote more feminism for men. Am I wrong?
No, I think that's right. Yeah, we need more morality, and you need a guide. You need And that's why I always push back when someone keeps talking about Christian values. I hate the term Christian values. It means nothing. You need to go back to principles. Christian principles. Now you're talking tradition, the stuff that Nick likes. The values, okay, that's the more modern, inclusive type churches. They have values. The traditional churches have principles.
Yeah.
But, they're all under attack. So there's nothing perfect out there. So I'm not making that claim.
Yeah.
So you going to join the Discord, Steve?
Yeah, I do. But that's on Thursday nights usually. Thursday nights. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask them to send you a link again.
Crazy.
All right.
Well, and
probably need some of those guys to kick my ass. And they'll do it, right?
Yeah, they kick my ass all the time. But I need it.
Well, this is what men, and this is why a strong man builds strong men, right? Yeah. This is why you need this kind of exchange where you get challenged, your assumptions, your viewpoints. Good men, they will challenge you.
And they'll shame your ass too, and you need it because it works.
It does work.
At least on men, it does.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Well, I think our stream has gone pretty long here.
Yeah, it has been. I just want to see here. If I'm going to feel a void from Lord Venom, I feel it with someone that is going to beach wine morning and complain, play video games, go mini golf, bowling, etc. Yeah, and this is what we see a lot of men are doing now. They don't want to deal with women, and I don't blame them because women have a lot of room for improvement. Yeah, but we can't do it by ourselves. We still need the leaders. We still need the men, to guide us. And even if I'm shaming here the whores, like women, don't be there, don't do that. There is no unity in the message. When I'm doing it, I see other people, men say that, okay, Elena, what you do, you can do it, whatever, but we will still talk to these women, talk to these whores. So yeah, I just I know what I'm doing is the right thing to do. It needs to be done, but we also need strong leaders who understand that. You can't just do it on one hand here. On one side we shame them, but then on the other side we're like, oh yes, just be honest. Oh, let's have some fun. It's like raising children in a family. When kids see there is no unity in the message between the mother and the father, they are going to take you for a ride. They will take advantage of the weaker side. They will try to bend and okay, how much can I push here? To sort of infiltrate it. And, this is what we see happens in children.
Yeah.
Women are essentially no different. We all need guidance. We all need strong leaders. But effective, strong leaders, who know that, who can say no to these women. Not just say no to them publicly, but like in action. In action, it has to be supported by action. The behavior of men has to prove that their words are not just words, because so far, I've seen a lot of it because I was analyzing this kind of content for a while, and I just don't see how their words match their actions.
So you seem to be implying that women can't be convinced to do something by using words and logic, and that it takes action, which is kind of implies sometimes force.
Yes.
Because otherwise, if you just count in your words and without action.
Without action, if they don't, I understand why they don't want to use force on these shows, because this will put them in danger, because women can sue them, women can do all sorts of things.
I'm not really talking about physical
force. Yeah. I understand.
Punishment.
Yeah.
I'm just philosophically.
Yeah.
Enforcement.
Enforcement.
Yeah.
Some consequences. Maybe she can't buy the new purse. Okay, right. You're going to force her not to buy the new purse. How about that?
Yeah. This is what needs to happen. We need to force women into being more submissive and more respectful of men, and coming down to earth with their sexual SMV, so that we can avoid. Look what happens with societies where there is polygyny. In effect, it leads to disaster. It leads to a lot of chaos. It leads to destruction. It leads to civil unrest, because those who are on top, they usually get kind of executed by the guys who are on the bottom, that don't get access to women. They don't get praised, right? In a way, a woman is the I don't want to use the feminist term here, like the prize, but it shows to men that what they are doing, all of their efforts, all of their hard work, is not being unnoticed. Right? But when women are so hyper-focused on the top men out there, due to their hypogamy, this is why I'm not a fan of, let's blame it all on the hypogamous nature of women, which is uncontrolled. Men are supposed to control the hypogamous nature of women. How are we controlling it now? By inviting these women on the shows where they spend time with the top men, that they don't consider the other men around them within their objective sexual market value.
Well, Elena, you're sounding kind of idealistic here now, aren't you? I mean, those are good wishes. But what's reality?
Well, and this is where the dilemma will always be, but shouldn't we at least try? This is why I'm saying that we have the power, we have the influence, right? They have the independent media. It's the only institution that we can start the process from. And I'm just fascinated that they don't really want to do anything about it, because they are enjoying the decline. This is the message that they send out to everyone. Well, there is not much we can do. Let's just wait until everything kind of collapses. And
is whatever doing that though? What does whatever do? Are they idealistic sometimes?
What do they do?
Well, we're talking about these hoes on these shows, right? We mentioned the whatever podcast, but I don't see them trying to promote this degeneracy. Are they?
Well, by the fact that they are bringing some variety, they are getting other women, not just the sex workers. I get it. Like, statistically, it's very hard to do right now because everybody is. But find a few women who are rational. Invite only married women. This would already set the standard higher up. You will, and then maybe for a difference, invite one whore. Okay, you don't need a lot of whores in order to understand how whores think. You only need one. Okay, find your, and then maybe invite like 2 women or 3 women who are married.
Where are you going to get these good women though?
I think it's like the women bathroom problem. A woman cannot go to a bathroom alone. She always has to bring 1 or 2 of her friends with her. And it's like a whore can't come on to whatever podcast alone. She's going to need 1 or 2 of her friends. It's just the way things are.
Well, then invite 2 of them. Okay, together they can come. But it's
you're providing a prescription here of what should happen. You know what? It's already happening. Because the good of the show is it's promoting discussions.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's promoting other podcasts. And then here we are discussing it. And then women are going on TikTok and Instagram and complaining there are no men. And then the divorced women who are 45 are crying about how, their experience is so bad. And so this topic is only growing.
Yeah.
It's bigger this year than it was last year. It keeps growing and growing and growing. And the red pill is actually moving more mainstream. The red pill guys kind of predicted these things, and they're now happening. So just let it evolve, and someone will come up with these things because people are interested in this topic, but probably not in the exact way we wish it would be. But any furtherance of this topic creates an understanding, and people are now not so afraid to criticize women. It used to be that you couldn't even criticize women, or everybody would think you're terrible.
It's a long process.
Okay, that happened to me.
We are now more able to talk about this, and you can talk among the younger men, and they accept it. And okay, this information is getting out there.
It moves in the right direction at the right time. It just takes time. I'm a little impatient, probably. So I've been watching the shows like since the very beginning, since they started, and I'm like, come on. I just don't like disrespectful women. They wouldn't be on my show. Like, honestly, maybe like I would get like one, but then you say she wouldn't show up. But then if you don't want to show up, if you don't want to fight for what you believe in, then like go do the other thing. We don't really need them to inseminate more delusion around there for younger women.
Man, your show is sounds kind of boring. Where's the excitement and the drama?
I'm very excited here. Well, I don't know, guys. I love these topics, and I love the healthy discussion. I love the healthy debate. I don't like interrupting people when they have something of value to say, because I'm learning. I'm learning from you guys. And women have a lot to learn from wise men. Women should listen. Shut up and listen without interrupting.
So, you think there's two parts of a woman's body she should close? That would make two parts of her body she should close: her legs and her mouth.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, so the Bible's kind of right.
Well, and this is what King Solomon,
Jezebels, like with Jezebels, we talked about that. There's a link between the woman teaching with the open mouth, teaching the congregation, and the opening of the legs. There's a connection.
There is a connection there. I agree. And look, who was it? King Solomon, who was saying that a woman can create a lot of good with your hands, but can destroy a lot with your mouth. Somebody said that. So I completely agree. Women need to shut up and listen. They need to learn. They are not perfect. They are far away from perfect. They're very delusional. They are very unrealistic. Yeah.
So like that lady in the church that she had this whole thing. Oh, feel bad for me. These officers in my denomination dare speak bad about me. One that the closing comment was, her husband. Maybe it was something about like her husband should love her enough to tell her to shut up.
Well, and the man should be able to tell the woman just shut up. And sometimes my husband he just looks at me, like he glances at me, and I'm like, oops, okay. The barrier, like where is the limit here? We don't teach girls this anymore. No, why? You'll see how disrespectful women are on the big shows. Guys, I'm not against, like, okay, yeah, this exposure needs to happen. Yes, we need to expose female nature, and we've been doing it for so many years. Then now what's next? Okay, because these shows are not enough. If we want to see the improvement, they are not going to do it. Because they're kind of catering towards women, towards disrespectful women. They come on these shows, they believe that they own everybody on this show. They believe that they can install their beliefs and everything and change the masculine man, and they kind of banned the man. Because the men don't tell them, just shut up, bitch, and listen. They had to push Myron really hard to say that to some of them. The guys are usually very patient, like way too patient.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like they are bending their masculine frame to talk to these bitches, because in a way they kind of are. Or we have I forgot your name, sorry. It just doesn't come.
George.
George. Yes, thank you, George. Yes, thank you.
Hey, nice to see you here, George.
See you too, George. Yeah. It would be great to have you one day to talk about interesting topics. Yeah, I don't see. They are pushing Myron. Then one second he explodes, and then he fumes for like 10 minutes, and then the girls are giggling. They're not even listening. You know, they're like, oh yeah, I got him. He's fuming now. I got the reaction that I wanted from him. Because like he sits quiet, you know, without ditching them right away. Like without establishing, like, where is the frame there? Like we talk about masculine frame. I don't see how men who bend their frame to talk to horse, to appease the horse, like they lose their frame.
Oh, so like the Bible says something like there's a time to, respond to a fool and a time not to respond to a fool. It takes wisdom to figure out which time. You don't want them to be, puffed up in their own eyes, but at the same time, you don't want to give them the attention that they're
asking for.
Right.
Yeah.
And it takes wisdom to know the difference.
Well, and I think Myron knows, it's just like I feel for him, because like if he was my son, let's say, I wouldn't want these harlots to treat him this way.
But he's also wise enough to know that he has no authority over that woman. He can't do anything to cause her to respect him. In theory, a man only has authority over his wife and his daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And correcting other women, other than in like a general statement or supporting shame, it's not his job. Yeah, he can't. It's impossible. Asking a man to correct a free-range woman or another man's wife, that's a recipe for disaster.
It is. Yeah. Well, but at the same time, he's like a role model to younger men who watch him, and
probably better than the models that they have, which is sad to say.
It is, yeah.
That's the problem. Is this society and culture is so-called Christian, but it's like Anabaptist. They have no tradition. They have no history. They have no leaders. They have all this effeminate government-imposed re-education, giving them castrated men and effeminate men, and they have effeminate men at home. They have generally no good man to look up to.
Yeah.
They don't know what it means to be masculine. So you have this, at least there's some light of nature in this patriarchy.
It's definitely a step forward.
I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it's probably better than what we have.
True.
Which is sad to say. That means the church has really effed up.
Yeah. Well, and even then, I don't think Myron has Christian principles in place based on what he tells men to do, get to 50 body counts, and it's kind of a moral way of viewing at the red pill.
Yeah, that's true. But he and Andrew have talked about that. And when they get into discussion, Myron will concede a point to Andrew. She's willing to say, "Yeah, I concede your point." He's not, and he might even be willing sometimes to say, "Yeah, I'm wrong, but I'm still going to do it." That's a different behavior than women. So he's actually willing to listen to the argument and have a respectful discussion. That's the beginning of change. I don't know where it's going to go, but he's not opposed to that worldview. That's the first step.
That's good. Yeah. That's good.
We should probably conclude this stream pretty soon.
Yeah, I have deep respect for what they are doing. I think that it needs to be done considering the circumstances and what has been happening in our society. I just don't think that it's enough, because it doesn't. Like, we need to show people the variety, that there are other people there, that there are higher quality women, really. So they don't think that, oh, just because we see this horse, all women are like that. Well, all women have the capacity to be that, but not all women execute upon it. And it depends on what men they are with. So we need to see maybe more like married women, like Rachel Wilson, like more rational women, like Pearl. I would love to see the shows with these ladies more, the discussions with these women. Well, anyway, yeah, let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you. It was very interesting. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, let me take us out. Remember to check out our new YouTube channel by Nick, by Steve, and my husband, Plutarch. Let me show you the schedule of our activities here. So we have the deep dive conversation on Saturdays at 9:15 in the morning Pacific, and then 11:15 Central Time, 12:15 Eastern Time. And then we have debunking feminist lies with Eamma on Tuesdays at 11:15 in the morning Pacific. And then the guys, they have their shows on Mondays and Wednesdays on the Resurgence. Please support our new YouTube channel, guys, at 5:45 in the evening Pacific, then 7:45 Central Time, and 8:45 Eastern Time. Okay, so please subscribe to the Resurgence YouTube channel, and yeah, remember to like, share, and subscribe, guys. It helps the channel a lot. Leave us your comments. Tell us what you think about the topics. And if you have any suggestions, reach out. We are open for your feedback. And we'll see you next time. Okay? Any final words, guys?
I've said enough.
Beware of the woman that can't find the good man and goes to church around the age of 28 to about 34. Beware.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm going to take us out finally here. Take care. Thank you, guys.